Welcome to One More and I'm Out of Here. I'm Jason Kiefer. I'm the host of the show. This is sort of our illegal shift variance, the one that we do with John for some reason. John's here. That's actually me. Kiefer, how you doing this morning, man?
Oh, frustrated, dude. Just not having a good tech morning, but
I'm not here. I did a great intro there, but I had my mute button on and only caught it at the last second. I had a great intro. I said something that would have made you weep.
Yeah, well, you make me weep every day.
But not in a good way.
No, this is bullshit, man. Like I don't understand what's going on with my camera. Pets' heads are falling off.
Apparently my microphone is annoying you. Are you getting an echo from me?
I still have an echo from me. Do you guys have an echo in the chats? Just curious.
Do I sound echoey to you out there in podcast land? David says Monday Night Football live watch. No, why would we be able to do that? I'm at work on Monday night.
I would like to, but yeah, it's.
And if you meant Thursday night watch, I'm usually on the air on Thursday night. Some of you may know that, but sometimes I'm even live whilst football is on. Guys, I'm John. It's a legal shift. We're going to catch you up on football. It took some complaints this week. So people are like, "Why don't you talk about other sports?" Well, there is no other sport. I have addressed this on the show multiple times. You know, Ernest Hemingway said their only true sport was mountain climbing. He said bullfighting was a true sport. Hemingway was a great author, but now he's dead. So what did his beliefs get him? I'm still alive. That's all I'm saying. It's football season. You're going to hear about football stuff right now. In the off season, we talk about other things. David wants more true crime. David wants more hockey. Jenny, who's here, she wants me to talk about association football, which, I'm just not going to do. So it'll just never happen. Kief and I have talked about baseball. We talked about Tyson versus Paul. We talked about some other things, Olympic stuff going on. We railed against the Olympics. We were against that. Do you guys remember this past summer when I said we ought to bring back war? It's the only for sure way that we could say which country is better.
It's the only for sure sport.
We're not using performance-enhancing drugs and women's free rock climbing. It's like, how can we know which one's really better, right? So we talked about all those things, and we can only do what we can. But football's it's my thing, so it's where I come alive. Kief also seems to like football.
I do.
He does like it. So that's how it's going to be. Drew says, check your echo cancellation. Actually, I toggled it on and off today, Drew. And Chief, you might want to check your mix minus settings to see if that eliminates the echo. Right. Drew knows very well about technological problems. Interestingly, he does not know how to spell my name after more than 2 years. That hurts. All right. Do you mind if I just do the Bills real quick, or did you want to catch up about how your week's been? Or
do the Bills first.
All right. Folks, the show's brought to you by Ghost Bed. I think if you're somebody that sleeps at night, don't be a chump. Go out and get a ghost bed. It's the best way to sleep. If you're one of these people that just, sleeps on a pile of rocks under a bridge, maybe ghost bed's not for you. But if you're somebody else, if you're someone that sleeps on a bed, you're going to want to go get a ghost bed. They're made by Americans for Americans and not for whatever weird nationality that Kiefer is. We're looking into that. I'm trying to get his birth certificate. Veterans of any war, as long as you have fought in a conflict, Ghost Bed is for you. It's made from 100% all natural, organic, sustainably harvested ghost technology. Every night they go out with an electrified pool skimmer out into the cemetery. They collect specimens to render into new beds. They do that for you. You could try it out not only for 99 nights, not for 100 nights, but 101 nights. Because Ghost Bed is here for you. And we would appreciate it if you use the offer code Wolfpack. I think that's the offer code you want to use. Even though we're on One More and I'm Out of Here, and even though this is a legal shift, a division of Fox News. Somehow, Wolfpack is the code you want to use. We try not to bother them. We try to keep it simple around here. The show is also brought to you by the Shield Box. The Shield Box is like the Butcher Box. Except what they do is instead of sending you a box of delicious beef or other cuts of meat for you to enjoy, they send you boxes full of policeman gear. That's right. Stuff for your duty belt, stuff for your tactical vest thing or whatever, handcuffs, sprays. If you're one of these weird tactically, kink people, this would also probably work for you. If you're someone that wants to pretend to be a police officer, Shield Box would work for you. You're going to want to go over there. Make a plan, pick a box, and then every 30 days reverse trick or treat style, which I know is offensive to some of you, as reverse trick or treat is a sexual position, but they will bring it to your house, right to your front door every month or whatever it is you choose. They will bring you new stuff, and it's stuff you get to try out. You don't have to be married to it. If you don't want to keep it, you can get rid of it, give it to your friends, pass it off. But if you're in law enforcement, or you want to be, or you just want to pretend to be, it's a great way to go about it. Go to the Shield box. We appreciate them. The show is also brought to you by the Bihar Public Service Commission, which is a government body established in the state of Bihar, India, established by the Constitution of India to recruit candidates for various state government jobs in Bihar through competitive examinations. Of course, the Constitution of India says the concept of conducting competitive examination for appointment to certain posts came into consideration way back in the year 1853, before the Civil War, guys. And a committee for giving shape to that, which constituted under the order of the chairmanship of Lord Macaulay in the year 1854. Later on, the Federal Public Service Commission and the State Public Service Commission were constituted under the Government of India Act of 1935. The Bihar Service Commission Act came into existence on April 1st. So we appreciate them. I don't want you to look them up, though, because for some reason, even though they are a government body in the country of India, their logo has 2 swastikas in it. Not sure what that's about.
You will be on a watch list.
Yeah, if you look it up, you will go on a list. Kiefer, we got some stuff going on this week in the game of football.
In the foosball.
First of all, how did it go for your Bengals?
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Well, I'm alive. I shouldn't be, but I'm alive. What a fucking joke. No defense whatsoever. Oh, I knew you were going to ask that.
I feel bad. I feel like we shouldn't have started there. But speaking of
fucking
alive,
blood pressure's up. No, you fucking started it. You started it, John. No, it's right. Our offense is fucking good, and it's not fair for an offense to have to put up 38 plus points and then still fucking lose. I don't understand how that happens. We have a quarterback that should be in the MVP running, and he's fucking 4-9. What in the actual fuck?
Ohio State won.
No, they didn't. It was a horrible sports weekend for me, John. Fucking horrible. We lost to the state up north. That fucking piece of shit.
I must have misread that.
Yeah, you did. 13-10, dick.
All right. Speaking of people who are alive and shouldn't be, Trevor Lawrence got absolutely drilled during the game with the Texans. I'm going to go ahead and play that footage if you don't mind.
Do it.
All right, here it is. Oh, just absolutely destroyed. One more time. This is Trevor Lawrence getting absolutely 9/11 by Aziz Al-Shahir, who has been he's been placed on a 3-game suspension. And after he took out Trevor Lawrence was doing the fencing thing, that Tua Tagovailoa likes to do, where it's like your brain stem's disconnected from your brain, so you just start acting like a baby. You basically get your reset button punched. So Trevor Lawrence was acting like a baby for a little bit there. And it's really not funny because you got his bell rang pretty good.
Yeah. They said he's going to.
But Trevor Lawrence is also doing this by choice and is a millionaire. So
I'm looking on TV right now. It says he's going to appeal the 3-game suspension.
Oh, he's going to appeal that. Everybody immediately, as soon as they saw what happened, they knew that he was wrong to do that. In fact, many other Jaguars players suddenly became energized for the first time this season and decided that they were going to go out there and kill him. If you watched right after that happened, Trevor Lawrence, what happened was he was running. He slid forward to give himself up, which means don't kill me. The play is over. All anyone on the Texans has to do is gracefully touch him, even just give him a little, essential massage, something, just a graceful touch. Play's over. This guy just absolutely nails him.
It looked like he was pretty close. Looked like he was pretty close to the line of when he becomes a runner. But either way, he got fucked.
Well, he still gave himself up. Like any player, like regardless of that, like there's no reason for you to just smoke them like that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. There's definitely no reason for it.
And I like the sport rough, but I mean, like, you're going to do something terrible to Trevor Lawrence, and what is that going to do for the sport? Like, if Trevor Lawrence dies, like Congress is going to try to stop the NFL from happening ever again.
Well, right now they're saying on Get Up on ESPN, should NFL make adjustments to QB sliding rule? They're so reactionary Yes, it's unfortunate that
yeah, they're reacting. That's what ESPN does. They have no real insight. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that it happens, but I mean, it is going to happen from time to time, and you know what you're doing when you sign up to play football. Now, you shouldn't get hit in the head like that, but you know that you're taking that risk, that possibility. We don't have to examine every fucking rule when something bad happens.
I completely agree. This from Yahoo Sports: NFL suspends Texas linebacker Azeez El-Shahir. Hence the whole 9/11 thing. It just sounds right. Again, 3 games for his concussion of Trevor Lawrence and the sparked brawl between the Jags. The NFL suspended Texas linebacker Azeez El-Shahir 3 games for a hit that concussed Trevor Lawrence in Houston's 23-20 win over the Jaguars on Sunday. The hit knocked Lawrence out of the game. It sparked a brawl that preceded 2 ejections, including El-Shahir's. Jaguars quarterback Jerry Jones was also ejected for his role in the ensuing melee, which must have enticed hockey fans because that's all they'll watch for is a melee. NFL Vice President of Football Operations John Runyon issued a suspension. Runyon says that he delivered a forceful blow to the head or neck area at a time when you had space and time to avoid such contact. Runyon then broke down the actions after the hit, engaging in a brawl, escalating the brawl, and pulling a player down by the face mask, which isn't nice. And continued to fight with the Jags player in the end zone after the referee delivered the call. Do you think he just knew he was so far in the wrong that if he didn't commit to it, like he's better fighting for his rights right here, right now? Like, no, let's decide right now if I was right or wrong. Because it was totally unsportsmanlike. I mean, it was.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a lowered shoulder. I mean, I think he was meaning to hurt him, but personally,
yeah.
But
well, the way that he conducted himself after getting up after that, where everyone's getting in his face and you're just like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?" And he goes, "No, I meant to do that." And it's just like, the best thing to do is throw up your hands and like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Yeah. Like, let's get somebody out here. I think him doubling down on it that just makes you look more vicious. It gives you more of that mad dog look, which is not what the NFL wants to see out of you. It's certainly like inspiring everyone to go out there and have a brawl. Not necessarily a good look. Anyway, speedy recovery to Trevor Lawrence. Hopefully everything goes well for him so that they can continue to tank and possibly draft somebody else next year. We got a whole bunch of Bear shit. They could be 8-4 if they didn't watch. Just something to think about. If they didn't suck, where would they be? You sent me some stuff on how new coach Thomas Brown preached accountability. That's a great opportunity for them. We'll go through this briefly, and then we'll get to the stuff that I want to get to.
I don't even remember what I sent you at this point.
We'll just blast through it then. Yahoo Sports says new Bears coach Thomas Brown preached accountability for a team that needed it, and he went a step further. What did he say, I wonder? It's easy for Thomas Brown to begin his tenure as Chicago Bears interim head coach. I'm sure he'll be remembered and have a long tenure. It would have been easy, too, for Brown to simply voice the pillar's importance and then demonstrate it at a later date. This was just his first press conference as interim head coach, less than a month after being elevated to offensive coordinator in the wake of Shane Waldron's firing. So this guy was like near the bottom of the command, and now he's at the top. But Brown said he wanted his team to embody 3 abilities: coachability, accountability, and dependability. That's all of us. Myself included, right. He said, I want someone to be able to coach me. Looks over to like the long snapper. The guy's like drinking some water. What? I'm not above coaching. I'm not above accountability. We can get that done together. So good for them. He's got that going on. But I want to talk about the coach that's going out, if I may.
Absolutely.
Would it be okay if I talked about Eberflus? Well, why don't we play the footage with Eberflus as we discuss the NFL's greatest crimes this week. I'm going to go ahead and play footage from the Bears game on Thanksgiving for those of you who didn't see it because you were trying to avoid your creepy uncle who was parked in front of the TV. Here's what you missed.
Well, this is supposed to be a quarterback draw. They have a light box.
Clock is running with 15 seconds, and it's 3rd and 26. They have one timeout left.
This is like the light box. You could have gotten numbers, but just didn't.
You better hurry.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is disaster in the making here. You're going to have to do something when it comes down to this play. Incomplete, and the game is over. completely botched at the end by the Bears.
Even Dan Campbell's mad.
Right.
I can't believe they didn't take a timeout. You just assumed they would have taken.
They're looking around like, what just happened?
They had a timeout left.
The clock has struck 0, and it is over. They took way too long to get in position to run this play. This had no intention of being their final play.
Oh, my goodness.
They would have had an attempt of a field goal to send it to overtime from about 59 yards.
Caleb, it's got to go up and spike it right away to save the timeout, or you got to take the timeout. I mean,
well, you run the third down play quickly, try to get closer for your kicker, and then you take the timeout.
And you're trying to get a quick play up. That's what they were trying to do, Jim. So you do want to save the timeout. You just got to get the experience of that. Caleb hasn't just been in that situation a lot. But you get up, call a quick play, throw it for 5-6 yards, down, timeout, tie the game.
I mean, they took a long time. Look at this. This is the end of the previous play was right at 32 seconds.
Wow.
Now, at that point, you believe you're not going to get another but one play off after this?
The coaches are like, listen, everyone get back. You had downfield.
Even Caleb's trying to get him to come back.
Just run this play, hurry up. But Caleb, you got to hurry up. Be screaming at him. Hurry up. He doesn't know there's 15. Snap the ball. Snap the ball.
You got to run it
He's
now.
He's looking around, taking his time, getting everyone set.
This is where they lose it right here.
Yep. You cannot get it down below 10 seconds there. It's okay to snap it at 12, 13, but he just lost track of time.
Another Bears defeat that at the end of the game, they find another improbable way to lose it.
Brutal commentary there from Tony Romo and Jim Nantz on Thanksgiving. It was probably the first audacious loss of the Thanksgiving Day, but there's such a thing as tanking for next year, right? Which none of us likes. Teams throwing in the towel so that they can get a good draft pick. However, there's a full other kind of tanking that none of us is aware of. And that's getting fired on purpose, which I believe is the 4D chess that Matt Eberflus is engaged in. They didn't have a terrible day or a terrible season. They could still do something. The NFC North kind of stacked with a lot of winners right now. The Vikings, Packers, and Lions. They're in last place, but I think Matt Eberflus saw the writing on the wall that there was no chance they were even going to get a wild card with the current race in the NFC, and so he decided to hatch a scheme. This is from Essentially Sports. Eberflus is the franchise's fourth coach to be let go in the last 11 seasons. As you guys will note, each of the last 3 head coaches have been fired when they get a brand new quarterback. Eberflus was fired when they hired Williams. Matt Nagy was fired with Fields, and they fired John Fox when they got Trubisky. So they always like getting a new quarterback and then having no consistency at coaching.
And then let that quarterback just flounder around because there's no game
just
play.
Let him fail, And it's the Bears are known for having great quarterbacks, so it'll be fine. But he's the fourth coach to be let go in the past 11 seasons. It's the first time in Chicago's 100+ year history that the franchise fired a head coach mid-season. As per Chicago Tribune's Brad Biggs, the former Colts defensive coordinator was on a 5-year deal that runs through the 2026 season with the Bears. That means he still has to cover 2 years left on his contract, which brings us to our next question. What about the money he was supposed to be paid? So he got on a Zoom call, said, hey, I'm getting ready for the San Francisco game. And then after they forced him to do that Zoom call, they fired him. So he had nothing the rest of the day, which is a great feeling, when you're suddenly relieved of all duties. But here's the deal. The NFL coaching contracts are guaranteed. That means fired coaches still get paid for the remaining years unless there's some juicy, quote, for cause clause involved. Per reports, if this paycheck mirrors others in his coaching tier, we're talking about $4.5 million a year per report. So if our math is right, that's potentially $13.5 million left. A $9 million loss for the team after the sacking on the table for the Bears head coach until 2026. Ouch. Maybe he didn't bring the wins, but he's definitely leaving with a hefty severance. Talk about getting paid to not show up. Some latest calculations show that Eberflus will rake in nearly $20,000 a day from the Bears for the next 2 years. If I could not work and also receive $20,000 a day, do you think I'm coming to work? No.
Definitely not.
You read that right. That's $20,000 daily for not coaching a team that couldn't wait to send them packing anyway. If you're doing the math or just shaking your head, here's how it breaks down. $13.95 per minute. That sounds like a rate that, Rob has to pay when he's on a 900 phone call. $13.95 a minute. That's how much he makes. That's more than most people make in an hour. Is $13.95, right? That's how much he's making per minute. Per hour, he's making $837 per hour.
So
$837
hourly wage.
Yeah, that's like what I make in like 2 weeks. Per day, he's making $2,089. Excuse me, $20,089. Who's bad at math here? It's me. Per week, it's $140,000, and per month, it's $562,000. Almost $6 million a year to do well. Nothing for the Bears. I think my new dream job. I used to want to be an astronaut, and then until my medical shit, I kind of had a dream of being a cop and doing some other things. But I think my dream job now is to just coach or stop being a coach for the NFL, because I think that's what really works well. I don't know if Kiefer's still here or not, or if I'm gone.
I am. Can you hear me? I don't know what happened.
I can still hear you. That's all I need is to be able to hear you.
All right, stand by.
But my new favorite dream job is to just not be a head coach. Kiefer's trying to figure out his camera, so I'll just do a little bit of commentary on that. I think the greatest crime is possibly Matt Eberflus's robbery of the Bears, of being paid to not show up. That was an incredible robbery. Kiefer, you are at factory reset settings over there. That's amazing. He's trying, folks. He's, we all have bad days. We all understand that. Let's go to the other big robbery. Well, he's setting that up so you don't have to look at his emergency standby message.
22. This is textbook. Fire this into the ground and kill the clock. This is about as good as it could go.
So what we have here on Friday, the next day after the Thanksgiving game, is the Chiefs and the Raiders, which I stopped watching for most of the game because it seemed like the Raiders could not get anything going on offense. And at the end of the game, the clock's winding down and the Raiders are driving. So it looks a lot like what had been going on earlier with the Bears, where they're driving down, getting ready to score, possibly set up to put them into overtime. The Raiders here are down 17-19. If they could just get into field goal range and they can perfectly time and perfectly kick a Dan Carlson field goal, they will win against their division rivals, the Chiefs, and it will be a miracle. It's Aiden O'Connell starting at quarterback. He's not someone who is well known or well remembered, and the drive seems to be going fairly well. But we all know that the Chiefs are expert strategists. Not just defensively, but in terms of officiating, they always have somebody on their side. So we'll go ahead and watch how this game played out. And just listen to Al Madsen. He'll comment on the clock because he's worried that the Raiders are about to do exactly the same thing that the Bears did.
For Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders.
With 15 seconds. So Carlson getting loose on the sideline. He made one from 27. He's missed from 56, 55, 58. The 56 was short. The other two were ugly.
Mahomes just wanting to get his hands on the ball, wanting a chance, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to come down to this drive. Cannot say enough about Aiden O'Connell. Guy has not played football with a broken thumb. Has had no chance other than to work his mind to stay sharp in this game and flawlessly moves this offense into field goal range.
It would be a 50-yard field goal from here. Drops it. Flag is thrown, though. Flag will
Okay, flag for what, though? At one point, you see someone coming out and doing one of these guys. That's ref for false start. You know what that means, Kief?
Yeah.
It means
Offense.
nothing has happened. It means nothing has happened. False start, back up 5 yards, and you're going to repeat the play.
And do it
They
again.
blew the play dead. Basically, the play started, and they said, no, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. They blew the play dead. Said it was a false start. However, if you look on your screen, some dude in a red jersey is holding up a football. The refs see this like, oh, shit, this is what's supposed to happen. So what do they do? The Chiefs have come up with a ball, and the best thing for the refs, for them to keep their job and to keep their fat stacks of payoff dollars that they were given before the game to help the Chiefs win, they realize they have to find a way for this game to go to the Chiefs. So what do? They already called the play dead. That means anything that happens after the whistle doesn't count, right?
Right.
We'll find a way.
Stop it. 4 seconds went off the clock, but what is the call?
The center he's a rookie. He snapped the football. I don't know what he thought he heard. The Raiders weren't even lined up. It's got to be on the Raiders for not even having a chance to get lined up.
This crowd couldn't hurt anything. Jackson Powers Johnson is the center.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, the Raiders didn't have a chance to get set. The ball is snapped.
It was a 2nd and 3.
Remember, the clock gets stopped by firing it, so there will not be a 10-second runoff. I'm not sure Jackson Powers Johnson, what made him think to snap that ball. It just bounced off the chest of O'Connell.
Illegal shift on the offense. That penalty's declined. The Chiefs did recover the backwards pass and take over first down.
Whoa, wow. On top of it.
Wow. Wow.
Even Mahomes.
We're just talking about the command that Aiden O'Connell had, and he did. This is not on O'Connell. I don't mean to put it all on Jack.
All right, so I'm not a rules expert, but I will tell you that failure to that illegal shift is basically when the ball gets snapped and there's some sort of motion or someone has come up to the line and then it stopped moving. It means a failure to stop. In other words, I don't know if anyone's ever picked that up. I see what you did there. 14 months later, I see what you did there. But basically, they blew the play dead, so nothing that should have happened after that ball was snapped. They blew the whistle and ran onto the field. Means nothing should have mattered after that. Even if they fucked up officiating, it means that nothing happened after they blew that whistle. Well, the ball got recovered by Kansas City after all their referee shenanigans, but they decided to let the play stand. How does that work?
Well,
Kiefer.
like you said, it's like you said, the refs are stealing the game. We're used to it with Patty Mahomes.
What do you think was the greatest robbery then? Eberflus stealing from the Bears for the next 2 years? Or do you think it was the Raiders having the game stolen away from them by the refs?
You know, what's funny is I watched part of that game. I didn't watch all of it, and I did not see that part. I mean, I saw the highlights after the fact, but
I stopped watching most of the game, and then I checked in on it because I was letting my dog outside. I'm like, oh, it's 17-19. Like, they may come back and win this. And sure enough, they were in a perfect position. They were moving it down the field. They had a couple big completions. They were moving it down. They were at the 40-yard line, 50-yard field goal. Dan Carlson may have been able to make that. They might have been able to beat the Chiefs. But I think the refs saw an occasion where they could easily just hand it over to the Chiefs and end the game. The Chiefs took over possession of this with 11 seconds left or whatever it was and just kneeled it out. Game over. They essentially just gave it to them. Now, I don't want to be too much of a conspiracy theorist because the center did snap the ball a little prematurely. He was signaled by the right guard that he could go ahead and do that. I'm not sure why the right guard gave him the tap that he was good to go. It was possible that they were all watching that Bears game earlier and they were all super afraid of fucking it up. Because like the Bears' problem is that they didn't snap the ball. So the center's down there and he's like, oh my God, I have to make sure I snap this ball so that we don't run out of time for no reason. And so this guy next to him taps him. He's like, well, I'm trusting him. And he throws the ball at Aiden O'Connell, who is not looking. And it all just goes haywire. But the thing is, I don't know. When you watched it, it stunk so much. We could Zapruder that thing probably for a month and not necessarily come up with a reasonable outcome of what actually happened. But I just thought it was amazing. Another big robbery. Somehow the Cowboys won on Thanksgiving. Gave me some sort of futile sense of hope. The hell is that about? Don't steal my peace. Don't replace it with hope for no reason. There is no hope though. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're not going to go to the Super Bowl. We could beat the Bengals. We could beat the Bengals. I don't even know. We could beat the Panthers, but we don't have a whole lot to look forward to the rest of the year. So But we also got stolen away from us the number 1 overall draft pick because we decided to start winning again. So.
Right. We decided to get a win, whatever.
I wanted to bring up some controversy with you about snow games. Did you happen to see the 49ers game when Christian McCaffrey fell in the snow? He got an injury. I was talking to Jenny about this the other day. Jenny is someone that watches the show. And we were talking about whether or not they should play in the snow. I've always been a fan of playing in the snow, but I wanted to know what you think about it. And then I'm going to bring up several points.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the issue with it. I mean, you have teams that are obviously more versatile in the snow because they're used to it. Versus like with your graphic, the Dolphins, they're not, so they're going to have a harder time. So how do you practice for that? But no, I absolutely think they should play in the snow.
I think they should too, because historically it's always been a part of the NFL, since back before big stadiums and big cities, when they're playing out at Comiskey Park and the Polo Grounds. Snow was always part of the game. It's a winter sport, should be played in bad weather. It's part of what makes it, I think, a little bit more exceptional than baseball, although I wouldn't want to see a baseball game played in the rain.
Right.
But it does bring up several interesting questions, I think, about what it means at this point, because the NFL is a little bit more than a game. It's a little bit more about just being for fun. There are a lot of things going on with this. I don't want to be dramatic, but like people's lives are determined by the outcomes of these games, right? A lot of people like Eberflus, it happened to work out fine for him, but there are people who get fired and people that get injured. And Christian McCaffrey, case in point, he's been injury prone this season. He's nearing probably end of his career, but he's also one of the most dynamic, interesting, and powerful NFL players. He's definitely a key to success for the San Francisco 49ers. Case in point, he hasn't been well this year, and they haven't been doing well. The pressure has been put on Brock Purdy to deliver and other players, and it's been a little bit too much for him. But I also had to put myself in the position of the 49ers, which was gross because I don't like that team. But I was like, how would I feel if our season was coming down to this, playing in Buffalo, in Orchard Park, and we weren't just getting beaten by the Bills, but we were also getting beaten by the bad weather? I think I would feel angry about that because there's a lot of teams in the NFL, even up north, where they have inside stadiums. Lambeau's outside, Soldier Field's outside, but Minnesota plays inside because they know, first of all, that they need all the help they could get. But also, I think they just also realized that, like, with as much as we have vested into this, player stats, player growth, player success, winning games, and avoiding injury, I think they realize, and also, keeping fans from dying. I think that is also a way to go. We saw the Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs played at Arrowhead in historically freezing temperatures. And like, how many people ended up going to the hospital during that game, Kief?
Oh shit, there was a ton.
Some people were getting toes amputated and shit. There were dumb Dolphins fans who were taking off their shirts saying nothing could kill me. And of course, their frozen corpses were just being stacked like cordwood at the end zone at the end of the fourth quarter.
Then you had the Chiefs fans that went home and they had drugs in their system, but they ended up falling asleep outside, and one guy ended up dying.
Well, those guys were murdered because they were calling for the CIA to be scattered to the wind. I don't know if you're aware of that. This is from SF Gate. Even for a team from California, the 49ers could hardly have looked any worse in the snow on Sunday during the 35-10 loss to the Buffalo Bills. The slick surface in Orchard Park caused problems for players on both sides of the ball. Defensive linemen slipped as they tried to get out of their pre-snap stance. Receivers slipped trying to outrun their routes. It even affected the ball itself, with the 49ers giving up costly fumbles on account of the cold weather. The incidents happen so frequently. The NBC put together a compilation of the times the snow impacted players or were trying to move onto the ball. It's hate quoting from Chris Collinsworth. It started right there at the beginning of the game. It was a little Keystone Cop-ish. Everywhere you turn, guys who are the most secure with football were the least secure tonight. Both teams dealt with the effects of the snow. There were some advanced stats that showed the first half had the slowest average route speed this season and the fourth slowest pass rush get-off speed. Meanwhile, each side's running game flourished with the highest rate of 10-plus yards because running is all you can do in weather like that. But the fact of the matter is the Niners struggled as more a result of the elements. Cold weather led normally reliable Kyle Jasinski to lose the football at the goal line. It also turned a pass that Brock Purdy would normally make into a fumble when it slipped out of his hands. It created another special teams mishap for Deebo Samuel when he fumbled the ball on a return. Unsurprisingly, the team from Buffalo did not face such mishaps in the Buffalo snow. They kind of gives them an advantage. And I guess maybe that's the trade-off for being miserable, having to live in Buffalo, having to be in that terrible weather. But that the snow is going to be on your side. You're going to play home games in November, December, and God willing, January. And you're going to face teams from the South or from nice places like California, and that's going to be a huge advantage for you. I don't know, Kief, do you think it's an unfair advantage, or do you think that it is fair?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a fair advantage for the teams that are up north, but you're professionals. So the teams that are, from the South that don't, you've got to figure out a way to win. You have to, I mean, it's a different ball game when you have Buffalo type snow. You're playing a completely different ball game than you're playing in, the very beginning of the season. You know what I mean? It's in a sunny September, day. But you have to figure out ways to win. So, how do you keep your running game going? Do you try to air the ball? I don't know what the right answer is, but it's one of those things. You just have to change your game plan.
They do, and they try to prepare. But I think the Dolphins are completely winless, like in the past 7 or 8 years in any season or any game where it's below 0.
I
don't
wouldn't
know
doubt
if
it.
you heard that stat when we were watching the Green Bay game on Thanksgiving night, and the Dolphins just couldn't put anything together. I think because it was cold, and future serial killer head coach Mike McDaniel just looked like he wanted to leave the entire time.
Absolutely miserable.
Have you ever heard of this sneaker game?
No.
Well, I believe it was the 1934 NFL Championship playoff. Did you see that game?
The Nikes versus the Converses? Is that what it was?
It was the sneaker game. I don't know if you saw it, since the game was played before the invention of television. I'm going to guess that you didn't. But
I'm old.
It was
not that old, John.
It was played at the Polo Grounds in New York City, and it was between the Chicago Bears of the Western Conference and the New York Giants of the Eastern Conference.
Oh yeah,
and the Bears were having a hell of a time. And at halftime, the New York Giants went out and they put on sneakers. They took off their cleats. They couldn't play in the ice. They couldn't penetrate the ice with their cleats. They were sliding all over the place. They put on sneakers and they were able to win that game. So that's an example of a team, the New York Giants in this case, turning that into an advantage. They obviously had the home advantage there in New York, and it's a pretty famous story if you've never heard of the sneakers game. Infamous in Bears history, a huge embarrassing loss for George Halas. I don't know if you've obviously never heard of it. I could barely hold your attention, so I'm going to move on to the next thing. I did mention, I wanted to mention that, of course, the Steelers also played a game against the Browns. They blamed the loss on the snow. I don't know if you saw that game at all since it was in your division, but fun to watch. Jameis Winston was having a good time in the snow. He was thankful to the Lord that the snow came. I don't know if you saw any of his reactions to that.
Sorry, I got a phone going crazy. My bad.
His phone's going crazy, guys. He's too busy to do podcasting with me, and that's all right.
No, I'm too busy still being frustrated about my tech issues because I'm waiting for my camera to go off again. Stupid.
Yeah, it's just a bad day for you, and that's okay.
It is.
Let's go ahead and play something that'll cheer you up. Have you heard of the Thick Six game that happened this past weekend?
No.
Everybody's going out there and they're embarrassing the Jets, pretty much. So the Jets blowing apart, which we've had fun documenting this season on Illegal Shift. Here are a couple of players. Geno Smith's one of them. And, of course, the other player, what's this guy's name? Leonard Williams. He's a defensive lineman. He made history with a 92-yard pick six return. It's I believe it's the second longest return by someone who's over 300 pounds. Enjoy. He grabs the ball. He's running back. I think I took out the audio on this because at first I was worried about monetization before I realized we don't worry about that here anymore. This guy is he's as big as me. He's 300 pounds and he just ran it back 92 yards. Leonard Williams, congratulations to him. It's
get the oxygen ready.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say make sure you get him hooked up to oxygen because he is going to have a difficult time with that. Seahawks defensive lineman Leonard Williams makes NFL history with a 92-yard pick six. Seahawks coach Mike McDonald was only kidding when he nominated Michael Dixon as honorary player of the game. in reference to the punter being unavailable in the fourth quarter Sunday, leading to a fourth down conversion that extended Seattle's game-winning touchdown drive. But McDonald was serious when he touted Leonard Williams' credentials as a prospective NFC Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, that definitely looks like Defensive Player of the Week material, doesn't it?
How do you throw the ball right to him? He's huge. How do you not see him? I mean, it was
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the answer to your question.
It was like he was passing it right to him.
Yeah. After being passed over for the honor last week, the veteran defensive tackle delivered his second straight dominant performance. This one highlighted by a 92-yard interception. He returned for a touchdown in the Seahawks' 26-21 win over the New York Jets. Something that's an interesting factoid about Leonard Williams, also drafted by the New York Jets, just as Geno Smith was, and now they're showing up to embarrass the Jets. As also I believe Sam Darnold did when the Vikings played the Jets. The Vikings beat the Jets this year, didn't they?
I believe so.
We're just going to say yes because it definitely sells the narrative better. After being passed over for the honor last week, the defensive tackle delivered a second straight dominant performance. According to ESPN research, it was the longest pick six by a defensive lineman in NFL history, topping Grant Wistrom's 91-yard return for the then St. Louis Rams in 99. Williams added 2 sacks, 3 tackles and a loss, and a blocked point after touchdown, leading Seattle to a third straight win and sole possession of first place of the NFC West at 7-5. So it's a weaker division, but they are in first place. You always have one division who's weaker than the others, and in this year it's just the West. He's playing at an all-time elite level. McDonald said of Williams to have a pick six. I think they told me he was going at about 17.5 miles an hour. Holy crow. That's pretty fast for a man his size. Guys, I can't run 17 miles an hour. Even when I was considerably younger and I was getting into shape, I would get on the treadmill and I would do what they called high intensity cardio, where like you're clipping on along 4 or 5 miles an hour jogging. And then just to see what it will take to make your heart blow apart, you just hit it all the way to the top of the treadmill. I would not be able to do 17.5. I would be thrown across the room. It's just amazing how amazingly athletic even these really, really big guys are. And you just always love it when a big guy gets to do something like that. I don't know if do you remember Super Bowl 20 when Fridge Perry got to catch the ball and, deny Walter Payton of his glory and win the Super Bowl for the Bears? I don't know if you remember that. Maybe since that was in 85, maybe you were a little too young for that.
I was 6. No, I do remember not physically watching that game. I remember the highlights from that game though. Because I mean, whenever they do the 30 for 30 on the Bears, with Peyton and then Fridge Perry, what did he weigh? What was his weight? Because he was at the time the biggest NFL player at that time, I believe.
I'll look it up.
He was huge. He was fun to watch. I mean, I'm not a Bears fan, but I can appreciate.
He weighed 335 pounds,
which back then was huge. Now it's mediocre.
Well, I want to draw attention to the fact that we're not okay. We're talking about 335 pounds within the context of the NFL. A 335-pound man still running and performing and being athletic is still amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Tall guys like me, we're not built to run. People think that because we have longer legs that we're going to be good runners, that we're going to be fast runners. No, our bodies break down. We're like those dogs, where we just get sick real early and we die really young. We're Great Danes, we don't
mastiff Dane.
The fastest people in the NFL are always the tiniest guys. Case in point, Kevontae Turpin, who plays for the Cowboys, he's kind of the special teams return guy. He's literally the fastest man in the NFL right now. I think he's somewhere around 4'2", very tiny. He actually when he flies, he actually flies inside a carry-on for another person, just to save money on a ticket. So that's
he's carried out on the field in somebody's pocket.
Yeah, he literally just rides out inside somebody's pocket. Very tiny guy. I wanted to plumb the depths of some bullshit here. Last week, I did make a prediction that someday Tyreek Hill would be in line at a fast food restaurant when he will pull a gun on someone, because this is just the kind of person that he is. He's a thug. But I was checking around. I can't figure out how many kids Tyreek Hill has. Some sources say 10, some say 11. This is from some website called BCK. I don't know what it is. How many kids does Tyreek Hill have? Look at the NFL star family as he welcomes a new baby. Miami Dolphins star and thug and piece of shit Tyreek Hill and his wife Kita Vaccaro, who might be a nice person, I don't know, have welcomed their first child together, a baby named Capri Hill, as opposed to Capri Sun. That would have been awesome. On Monday, Kita shared happy news on the Instagram, posting a video montage of the newborn daughter. That's real nice. Taking to her Instagram stories, Vaccaro posted another photo showing Hill shirtless in the hospital, holding Capri for the first time. Daddy holding me for the first time, she captioned. That's so sweet. Kita first revealed a pregnancy in May of 2024, catching fans by surprise because most of us didn't care. So for sure was a surprise. The announcement followed a headline making 2023 for Tyreek, during which he welcomed 3 children with different mothers.
Interesting.
Despite the buzz, Kita, a wellness influencer, stood by Hill's side with unwavering support. Well, of course, she's financially secure for the rest of her life thanks to that baby. Thanks to Capri Hill, she's always going to get a check from him. And the week, this is why I say that he's going to go broke, because he has 11 kids, first of all. I mean, aside from just being an idiot.
I like the fact that but he hasn't confirmed the number. Would that be something
we're not sure, right? Even this one website hasn't even said yet. And the weeks leading up to Capri's birth, Kita shared stunning maternity photos featuring Hill lovingly holding the baby above. I don't really want to go. There's photos of them. They're together. He looks happy. She's holding her baby bump. This is kind of grotesque, because it's like, well, he's not going to be there for you. He's going to be hanging out with like the 3 or 4 other women he has kids with all the time. Capri is Hill's 7th confirmed child.
Confirmed.
NFL stars include Zev Hill, twins Nakeem and Nyla Hill, and Crystal Espinal, Sol Corazon Hill, Brittany Lackner, Tyreek Sean Hill with Camille Valman, and Trey Love Hill with Kimberly Kaylee Baker. Rumors have swirled that Hill may have as many as 11 children, but he hasn't confirmed the number. It's just sad when you don't even know. What'd you say, Kief?
I said, what, did he misplace a couple? I mean, is he not remember?
He still haven't said. Well, I mean, you maybe never want to go on the record, because like, what does that do? Doesn't that inspire someone else to come out of the woodwork at that point? I mean,
right.
Like, is this a problem that you're actually like trying to manage, like how many kids you have? I mean, obviously he's not managing it well, because it continues to happen. He keeps having kids. But yeah, you have to wonder about his discipline here and what's going on with him. And it's just sad. I feel bad for these kids, because they're not going to grow up with a normal life. And I feel bad for these women too, because even though they're going to have money and paychecks coming in for them, their kids deserve better. Look at this. Look how disgusting this is. It's not sweet, guys. It would be sweet if these two were married, or if they were in a committed relationship at least. It would be kind of sweet. First of all, Tyreek here, very much posing for himself. I'm not even sure these two people were in the picture at the same time. He might have been added in later. Doesn't it look a little Photoshopped to you? Because they're not touching each other. They're not embracing or anything. He's not putting his hands on her belly or anything. Confusing, Tyreek. I don't know why you would do that. Well, Kief, I know you're having a bad week, and that's okay. This isn't a show about excellence, obviously. We've never aspired to that level. But we should get into the picks for this week, don't you think?
Yes.
Let's do the picks. First of all, I wanted to say both of us went 14-2 last week. We are good at this.
That's exciting.
We both got the Ravens game wrong, but you got the Bengals wrong, and I got the Saints wrong. So we both came out 14-2. That means our overall average coming closer together. You're now at 0.679, and I'm at 0.689. Just ever so slightly better than you.
Slowly inching there.
Yeah, but it's a statistical dead heat. I can't say that I'm for sure better than you. But why don't we go through the numbers and we'll make our picks if you're ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
That may be the only thing that we can still have left to do today. Packers, Lions. Who do you got on Thursday night?
I got the Lions.
I too will take the Lions. Browns, Steelers. They're playing on Sunday at noon.
Steelers. As much as it pains me.
You think so? Think Jameis is going to get back with his picks again, his pick sixes?
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know why the Steelers are good. I don't know why they're leading the AFC North. Can you explain that to me?
No, I can't. It's It's
The Ravens are much more talked about team, but they're not in charge of the North.
right. And the excuse me, the AFC North. I mean, it's a tough division. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So, I think you might see a little bit of a flip. I think the Ravens will get their shit together.
Saints, Giants. Saints are 4-8, and this is at home in New York.
Saints.
I'm also going to take Saints. Jets, Dolphins. At this point, I just want to take the Dolphins because I just want to see the Jets fail.
I am going to take the Dolphins.
I'll take the Dolphins on that one. The Jets are 3-9, and the Dolphins are 5-7. Both teams not good. The Buffalo Bills have already secured the division win. They're the first team to do that, and they did it damned early this year. Jaguars, Titans.
Titans.
Yeah, Titans. I guess a lot. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence has been cleared to play, but I would probably take the Titans in that contest anyway.
Yeah.
Falcons, Vikings. Kirk Cousins coming home. What do you think about that one?
I'm gonna go. Kirk Cousins has something to prove. I'm going Vikings anyway.
I'm also going Vikings. The Vikings are 10-2, and I believe they're in second place in the division up there. Panthers, Eagles, possibly an easy pick.
Eagles.
I think the Eagles will win, but I also think that it will come down to a field goal right at the end, because that is how it has been for the Panthers lately. I don't know if you're paying attention to them. I highly doubt it, but they keep losing right at the last second. Raiders, Buccaneers, a nice pirate game.
I think we're gonna have to go Bucks.
Yeah, the Raiders are already eliminated from playoff contention. They're in Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers have a lot to work for, and the Raiders don't have so much. Seahawks, Cardinals. Seahawks are a game ahead. They're 7-5 at Arizona, 6-6.
I'll go Cardinals.
I'll take the Seahawks. I probably will regret that. Bears, 49ers.
Given all the turmoil. Oh fuck, that's a tough one for me.
Yeah, and they're not that different. The Bears are 4-8, and the 49ers are 5-7. They're actually pretty close. The 49ers are down Christian McCaffrey, the running back.
I'm gonna go
Bears.
Bears.
You're gonna take the Bears? You think they're gonna win after firing their head coach?
I'm gonna take the Bears.
I wonder if it'll come down to clock management. That'll be fun to see. You know what? Just because I hate the 49ers, I'll take the Bears too. I'm just gonna guess. Now I got to go with the 49ers. Come on. They're playing at home. The Bears have no hope. I'm going to go with the 49ers. Bills, Rams. Remember, the Bills have nothing to play for. They've already locked up their division. They win a couple more games here. They're gonna win their seed in the playoffs. It's not going to be. I mean, it's still pretty competitive in the AFC, but they don't have a whole lot to play for. They definitely are going to be playing at home in the playoffs.
Right. I'll take the Rams.
I'm going with the Bills. This is definitely just a game that the Rams cannot win. It has nothing to do, I think, with the Bills. I think the Rams just cannot beat them. Chargers, Chiefs. Do you think the Chargers at 8-4 are going to give a run for the Chiefs' money?
No, I think Chiefs.
I don't know. I think the Chiefs. I'm putting them on fraud watch. They've had a terrible year. The Raiders almost beat them. I think the Chargers are going to take them down.
All right.
When you go with the Chargers, I think you'd like to see that. And then, of course, the game of games.
The game of games. It is upon us next week. Upon us. Who are you taking, John? See, stupid camera went out again. Dumb. I'm obviously
really taking away from all the stress and tension of this moment as I try to be mysterious. It just makes us look like we have technical difficulties. I have to pick the Cowboys anymore. It doesn't really matter.
Right. And I'm going with my Bengalis.
You're going with your Bengals. All right. Well, that takes us to the end of our picks for week 13. Folks, this is not our best episode. You know, I over-prepared a little bit. I had a lot of media. Kiefer underprepared a little bit by not having technology. He tried. I'm just giving him shit.
I don't know what the fuck happened. I got to figure out this camera. Something happened.
You have another show that you like to do, though, which is called One More and I'm Out of Here. When's your next episode of that?
It was tentatively Friday. I think I've got to cancel that one because Jill and I have to go look at a wedding venue, and then we're going to go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. Do you mind if I ask what venue you're looking at, or do you not want to say because you don't want people showing up?
I'm sending invites to the whole wolf pack, so it's fine. This place is it's called Carnegie in Tusculum or something like that. It's like an old library.
Oh,
Very
cool.
old, very old building. But we're gonna take a look at a couple more places and then finally solidify one and then set a date. So
very ironic, don't you think?
Don't you think?
Fireman going to such a combustible place,
Right?
And also a place of learning.
Of learned gentlemen.
You're like, I am a scholarly gentleman. I enjoy the scholarly pursuit.
I have many leather-bound books.
My apartment smells of rich mahogany. Do you remember before memes and we all just quoted Anchorman? That was such a golden time.
Yes. Well, John, I'm sorry my camera is not playing.
All right. You know, not every episode can be pure gold. I told this to Drew a long time ago. I said to him, when you're as prolific as we are, meaning we do shows all the time, you know, you do multiple shows a week and so do I, stuff's bound to go wrong and you're just not going to have a good day. Like we've had shows where I roll out of bed and I feel like dog shit. I'm just like, I'm only doing this because I have to. And then I'll roll in here with you and I have a good time and we have a good show. And it's, you know, sometimes you kind of catch good luck or good energy. And sometimes you just don't, you know, you're feeling pretty lousy because you're stressed out before the show. And, you know, then I ask you if you've even heard of the New York Giants and you say you've never heard of them, which is bad for us as a sports show, you know?
Oh, shit.
Then I got to kind of try to keep it going on my own because, you know, you're struggling and that's okay. So it's not our best show, but you know what? Next week will be better. We're going to have, assuming we're coming back. I mean, like, what if the outcome of the Bengals and Cowboys is so controversial that literally somehow we internalize it into ourselves and externalize it on each other? We're not friends anymore. Like, what if I never hear from you again after this?
Well, I hope that's not the case, but it would be coming from you. You would stop talking to me because I'll never.
I think it would come from you because I think you can't handle one more loss. And to be humiliated by one of the worst teams in the NFL?
We will see. We will see late Monday night.
Like how you're like not promising. We're like, no, John, we'll get through this together. We're like, well, let's just see what happens, okay? Like, let's just see.
Let's take it one step at a time, bud.
Let's take it one step at a time. Just in case this is our last episode because of the forthcoming Bengals Cowboys games, I want to say it's been fun.
Oh, it's always a blast.
I like podcasting with you. And I hope that your camera's not, I hope it's not like a permanent situation where you just can't ever get back on the internet because that would be sad for one more and I'm out of here.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Kief wants to go, guys. I want to stay here and chat with you, but he's got to go. So we'll catch up with you next week. We're going to figure out the next date for one more and I'm out of here. Thanks to everybody who dropped into our chats today. Jenny was here. Wish I'd been a little bit more attentive to that. Falk around and find out was here. It was very nice of you guys to drop in here. Deadleg even dropped by. Always good to see him in the chats. Will Cray was here. Thank you guys for listening. Jenny, I appreciate you putting up with this. Oh, boy. Next week, we'll be back, God willing. Goodbye, Kief.
John, I love you.
I love you too.